Well, hello and welcome back here to fabulous Al Ain in the UAE for round 3 of the UAE Rotax Championship. I'm joined by my very good friend Joe Bradley. Joe, what are you most looking forward to in round 3 of the championship?
Well, we're back to Al Ain. It's kind of become our home here in the UAE, haven't we? Round 3, championship beginning to develop and form up, but they've changed the configuration of the track a little bit. So we might be back at Al Ain, and fundamentally the track is exactly the same as it was. However, there's a big change in the infield section. That's going to change the character. Certainly it's added character with a little hairpin. That's going to be certainly an overtaking opportunity. But then we've increased the speed out of that hairpin and down that back straight, which was already an overtaking opportunity. I'm pretty sure the protagonists in the UAE RMC are going to show us whether it's done or not.
Now, of course, changing the track is going to present a challenge to the drivers and a challenge to the driver coaches. Why don't you do a couple of things for me, Joe, and you can bring Henry along as you like. I want you to, first of all, mop up some of the little incidents from Al Fusan and then find out all you can about driver coaching.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's as if we've rehearsed that. I'm beginning to make a habit of talking to George Nasser at any of these UAE RMCs. This one, though, George, I wanted to talk to you specifically. Round 2 at Al Fusan, you were... My friend, you were unbeatable. You were on fire there, weren't you? You loved that track. The final was, as ever, full of drama, controversy, and this piece of plastic cost you the race, I think. Yes, we had a coming together off the line. We had a coming together out on track. And I just wanted to have a look at how this pod fixes, because from your perspective, George, from our perspective, we saw the pod fly off. It was clearly caused by the wheel banging and the coming together, I would say, yeah?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. It just ruined the metal bar, and the bolts here just got loose after the collision, and yeah, it just was a matter of time before it would pop off.
Yeah. Did you actually see it fly off, or were you unaware?
No, I wasn't aware. I was very confused when I saw the mechanical flag.
Yeah.
And partly devastated.
Yes. Yeah, what George means devastated. Honestly, mate, you were unbeatable there, and your mission statement was to get away from the pack as quickly as possible. However, the pack wasn't going to let you, were they?
Not that race, no. But I did get away just without this.
Yes, you did. Right, being a racing driver, you're not thinking about the last corner or the last event. You're thinking about this one, aren't you, already?
Yeah. We've got some work to do after these practice sessions.
All right. Are we going to see a level of dominance that we saw at Al Fusan, or, as you say, you've got work to do? What area of work is that?
Speed-wise, we need to still find some pace. But yeah, we'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah. As ever, George Nasser up for the fight.
One of the key elements in every young driver's arsenal is getting a good driver coach. Well, I'm here with one of the best, Matthew Higgins, a double British karting champion, European champion, third in the World Karting Championships, and now the owner of the Matthew Higgins Driving Academy. What are you doing here this weekend to start with?
Over the weekend, I'm just giving data and GoPro advice to Ari Kallenberg. Previously in the week, Monday, Tuesday, I've been on track with him, as well as yesterday, on track coaching, just showing the lines and also setting reference laps, getting the GoPro to show him, and also the benefit of following with the GoPro behind him. Then I can show him exactly the mistake. And also when I say it, and if I can back it up, then suddenly it carries a bit more weight and they listen a little bit better.
So your main weapon of choice is still a go-kart, because obviously you're in a go-kart, you're still driving, but now it's more about data screens, GoPros, laptops and footage. You've talked about being out on track with Ari. Now, what's your purpose of being out on track?
I mean, there's many different purposes, one of which is, like I say, reference for the data. Again, having the video to follow them and show them. And then also we quite often do a bit of racecraft training, so just really going head to head, leaning on each other, gaining confidence, making contact in the right way, side to side contact more so, but obviously leaning on one exit of the corner, for example, just building confidence around other karts, as well as gaining awareness of the karts around us.
And that might sound like strange to people saying that you'd go out, but it's very true. Karting is so intensely competitive, so close, that young drivers, they do need to have their confidence built, and you need to know when to give a corner up, but when not to give a corner up, and when to stand your ground, and that's something important that every young driver has to learn.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's, again, doing it in the correct way, which doesn't then lead to crashes. And kind of you show your intent that you aren't going to go up the corner, for example, and then they give up the corner and that prevents a crash. Or, yeah, and just, yeah, like I say, trying to do it in a correct way that doesn't lead to crashing. Like swiping on a straight is obviously not acceptable. And so, as I learned firsthand, but no, yeah, just trying to teach them to do it, race hard, but obviously fair at the same time.
Now, as somebody that knows about coaching in another sport, how important do you get involved in the off-track coaching? Is there any mental coaching, mindset coaching, diet, sort of performance, being an elite performance athlete? Do you get involved in that side of things as well as just the on-track stuff?
Yeah, so the main reason I've called it Matthew Higgins Driver Academy is mostly focused away from the track, actually the preparations leading up to it. I'm actually in the process now of launching an app with someone else, Lee X, Jack Tomlinson. So yeah, we've worked on an app where we can control the nutrition, provide them with a nutrition plan based on their goals and weights and so on, as well as the preparation, lots of different things. There's breathing exercises, reaction tests, and yeah, just the preparation, watching other races, their past races to learn their mistakes. But no, every driver's different, so a lot of it, yes, there's the app, which is mega, but it's just being in contact throughout the weeks and kind of seeing what works best for them. I mean, some people like to be hyped up, for example. Others need to have a calm approach, so just trying to figure that. And yeah, like I said, there's a lot of ways that you can achieve that and help promote that once you figure out the driver you're with to get the optimum out of them.
Now, most kids, when they say the word school, their face drops. But you are a school, effectively, outside of school. You're a second part of education. How do you get a driver who doesn't like going to school during the week, doesn't like his online school, her online school, for example, how do you get them to then switch on and see you as a school that they need to pay attention to? Because you are effectively becoming a teacher. Your subject happens to be go-karting.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bit of a different approach to maybe some people. I leave that to them. If they want to learn, then I'd love to help them, and they're the people I want to work with. But I'm pretty fortunate. If they don't want to learn, then yeah, unlucky. I'm not gonna waste my time or effort to help them. So yeah, generally, people don't like school because they don't see the benefit. Whereas if they're working with me or other coaches in karting, it's because they want to learn to win races and so on. So I think naturally they do already just have that incentive to learn and pay attention.
Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get an answer out of you here, but you've got a go-kart on track.
Yeah.
You've got a laptop with data,
Yeah.
and you've got a screen with GoPro footage. Of those three elements, the go-kart itself, the GoPro, and the data screen, what is most important for a driver coach?
Everybody's different. I personally prefer the GoPro more than anything. I think you can show their mistakes, obviously watch on board with them first person. Obviously on track's really good as well, but doesn't have the same effect unless I then have the video to show them. Again, data for the final, half attempt, 2 attempts, so on, then it's really good. But just to really work on technique, which I think I generally try and prioritise, get the technique nailed, and then you can go any track, anywhere, and generally you're okay. So yeah, for me it's a GoPro for sure.
Now, how do you cope? Because I know that you won the British Kart Championship this year. Two drivers, at least two of your clients, Jacob Ashcroft and Emerson McAndrew-Uren, were also driving. How do you prioritise or manage your racing along with your job coaching them? Because all three of them, Matt, Em, and Jacob, won the British Championship this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult, that's for sure, and I say I got better at it throughout the year. yeah, generally a big part of it is having a good mechanic in my dad, so I can kind of leave him do my car. I don't have to pay any attention to that. I just turn up on the grid and do my job. And then, yeah, they, again, like I say, they have to want to learn. They understand that I'm busy and have to do my job as well on track, so they have to be there and patient to make my life easier as well. But no, yeah, it is quite difficult. I mean, for sure, Dunkswell, I didn't perform as well in the final because I was just so excited that Emerson won after the hard week, and I just wasn't really zoned in. So after that, I had to learn at points through the weekend. You have to definitely be a bit more selfish and to get the most out of my racing, because it's my career I want to push at the end of the day as well. But yeah, of course, it's quite hard not to get emotionally attached when they're going for race wins and so on.
And one last question. You mentioned your career. You have to stay in the seat and active as a driver and at a high level to then attract new clients. How close are we as a sport to being able to support more professional kart racers, like potentially yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's already in a fairly good position for it, to be honest. The last 2 years and for next year, I've had numerous offers to be a professional driver. However, my main goal is to progress into the cars and be a professional driver in cars, hence the reason I've not taken the full factory drives and so on. And even like in the States, I think they're doing a really good job promoting it really well. And out here, again, it's developing massively and it's growing industry. So for sure, I think it's in a good place. It's hard to come across the drives. But no, like I say, I've had numerous opportunities and options to do that as a professional karter, but yeah, my priority is to go cars, so hence why I've not done it yet.
Well, there we go. Ari Kallenberg, not just saying it's just down to Matthew Higgins Driving Academy, but if Ari Kallenberg has an uptick in performance, it might have been because he's done his homework. Where will people find a bit more out about the Matthew Higgins Driving Academy?
Just follow my Instagram, drop me a message, and yeah, then we can get involved. I'm working on a website as well to make it a bit easier.
Everyone's on Insta these days. There we go. Thank you very much, Matthew.
Thank you.
It's a big part of motor racing, isn't it? Perhaps even more so these days. Back in my day, driver coaching consisted of, some would say, a piece of slate and chalk. But honestly, I'm not that old. We've now got video on karts. We've got cameras on karts. And Sophia here, who is the driver coach here at the Kart Advisor Academy. Sophia, this is a very important part of a race weekend. Just how important is it?
I mean, I think it's probably the biggest part. I mean, yeah, obviously we work a lot behind the scenes, obviously with the mechanical side, but coaching isn't necessarily just teaching them the lines. It's also about getting their feedback on the go-kart. So it's just very important to get feedback on how they feel, what they can improve, how they can improve, and it builds their confidence. It makes the go-kart ensure that like it works with the driver.
Yeah, it's a mix of things. Then it's about kart setup, but it's also about getting inside these guys' heads, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very important. So yeah, we do it every other session, whether it's focusing on what we should improve about the go-kart, what we should improve about the driver, it's like a full 360 kind of.
You've done some driving yourself. I mean, you were familiar with you in DD2s only last season. All right. Yeah. You've kind of matured and now you're a driver coach.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about our car racing in a little bit. As a driver, did you feel, I mean, Sam and Maeve is feeling, I mean, all right, they're not looking bored, they're looking intrigued. I mean, how important is it for these guys? How important was it for you?
I mean, I had definitely many different coaches throughout my career. Obviously, I had in Italy different ones. Then I moved here, changed teams, had my own team. So it was very important. Besides having someone to tell you exactly what to do, it's nice to have someone supporting you. Even when you're out there, you don't come to the track, unsure about what you should be doing. You're like, okay, this session I didn't like it, and then it's okay, because I'll come back and I'll have someone tell me exactly what could be improved.
And it's that feeling of positivity and moving forward.
Yeah, it's that feeling of just knowing it's okay, I don't have to rely only on myself, my skill. I have people that can help me figure it out.
You make that sound easy, but these drivers have to then go out onto the track and apply
Yeah.
what you're teaching them. And how do you find that as a coach in getting your driver to actually apply and comply with what you're asking?
I mean, it's definitely difficult. I mean, I think, I think it depends. It depends on the type of mistake they're making. It depends on the reason why they're making that mistake. Obviously, certain drivers react to the coaching in different ways, so it really depends. We obviously try to, let's say, make sure that we keep working towards the same goal, so we don't keep changing. Okay, you work on this thing now, then we don't check whether you did it well. We try to make it a bit more standard so that everyone is on the same page.
Yeah. You yourself, Sophia, you were telling me that Sophia Nesci, by the way, Necchi, sorry, I knew I'd get that wrong, Italian. Sophia Necchi is a name that we motorsport fans are going to look out for, because you have got plans to get your Nürburgring license, and then we may even see you at the N24, yeah? Is that the plan? Tell us how those plans are going.
Yeah, so I made my debut in cars last summer, and obviously to race in the Nürburgring, it's not what usually people do for their debut in cars, but my dad was in love with the track, so he said, you know what, I want to go back to racing, why don't you do it with me? Which, fair enough, it was very nice, great experience, but I had to do basically this lower level championship to be able to do the endurance races, but it's been great, a lot of experience, rain, darkness. It's been great. It's very nice.
The Nürburgring is the only track where I go to and think, no, I'm fine behind the microphone. You know what? You've added an icing to an already very rich cake. Driving and competing with your father, that's pretty special.
Yeah, obviously it was just a mix of really great emotions, because it's just debut in cars, Nürburgring with my dad. I mean, it's just very overwhelming.
Yeah, you have jumped into the deep. Even Max Verstappen had to go through the license process. So, you know, you've thrown yourself in there.
It was very funny, because my dad has this kind of like running joke that when he joins a championship, usually the good drivers start joining. And I just know that the race I did the day before Verstappen was there. So
right.
Slight bit of pressure with.
Well, you can always tick that box. You'll compete with Max Verstappen. So is N24 looking like 2026?
Hopefully.
That's the plan. Thanks.